Have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake up every morning to the sound of a waterfall, not somewhere in the distance, but directly beneath your feet? This is Fallingwater, one of the most celebrated houses in the history of architecture, and perhaps the purest expression ever built of a home that does not simply sit within nature, but truly becomes part of it. Designed by Lloyd Wright in 1935, Fallingwater was created for the Kaufmann family, owners of a well-known department store in Pittsburgh, as a weekend retreat deep in the forests of Bear Run, Pennsylvania. The family loved this wild stretch of land. They loved its rocks, its trees, and above all, its waterfall. Naturally, they expected Wright to design a house that would look out toward the falls, framing the view like a painting. Instead, he gave them something that no one had ever imagined. Rather than placing the house in front of the waterfall, Wright placed it directly on top of it. The water flows out from beneath the living room and falls into the stream below, so the sound, the movement, and the energy of the water become part of everyday life. The architecture here does not observe nature from a safe distance. It lives inside it. It belongs to it. You can feel this idea most clearly in one unforgettable detail. A suspended staircase descends from the very heart of the house, dropping gently all the way down to the surface of the stream, giving the family private access to the cool, running water below. It is a simple gesture, and yet it captures Wright's entire philosophy in a single moment. Architecture should bring us closer to nature, never separate us from it. Wright also understood that the true magic of this place was not something you could only see. It was something you could hear and feel. Long before you ever reach the water itself, the constant murmur of the stream quietly fills every single room, a gentle and endless soundtrack that never truly stops, in every season and at every hour of the day. In this house, you do not simply come to visit the waterfall, you live inside its sound. Step inside, and that same philosophy continues in every direction you look. The living spaces are deliberately open and low, with long horizontal ceilings that quietly push your gaze outward toward the forest beyond. Continuous bands of glass wrap around the corners of the house, and where two panes of glass meet at the edge, there is no frame at all. The wall simply dissolves into thin air, and the forest seems to pour directly into the room. Wright even painted the slender steel window frames in a warm Cherokee red, a signature color that glows softly against the green of the trees and the gray of the stone. Through these windows, the changing seasons become part of the interior itself. The fresh leaves of spring, the deep light of summer, the color of autumn, and the silence of winter snow all move slowly across the rooms throughout the year. And Fallingwater truly comes alive through those seasons. In summer, it almost disappears into a wall of living green, its terraces floating quietly above the rushing water. In autumn, the surrounding forest turns to gold and copper, and the house seems to glow from within it. In winter, snow settles gently on the cantilevers while ice forms along the edges of the falls, revealing the pure, calm geometry of Wright's design. At dusk, warm light begins to spill from the windows, and by night, the entire house becomes a glowing lantern, suspended in the deep darkness of the forest. Seen from directly above, the plan of the house reveals itself as a bold composition of horizontal planes. Terraces are layered one over another, reaching out in every direction over the ravine and the stream. These are the famous cantilevers, and they are the true structural heart of the building. Each terrace is a slab of reinforced concrete that reaches far beyond the point where it is supported, appearing to float effortlessly in the air above the water. For its time, this was a bold and even risky act of engineering. The cantilevers stretch outward with an almost impossible sense of lightness, anchored firmly back into the solid stone core of the house. Behind their calm and elegant simplicity lies one of the most ambitious structural achievements of the entire 20th century. In fact, these daring cantilevers were so far ahead of their time that many people, including the Kaufmann family themselves, quietly feared that the terraces might one day give way and fall into the stream. And yet, decade after decade, they held firm, floating patiently above the water, proving that Wright's bold and confident vision had been right all along. Today, they are studied by engineers and architects across the world as a defining moment in the story of modern construction. Look closely, and you can begin to read the quiet conversation between two very different materials. The smooth, pale concrete of the floating terraces meets the rough, layered sandstone of the walls, stone that was quarried right here on this very site. Wright wanted the house to appear as though it had grown directly out of the land, so the masonry deliberately echoes the natural rock ledges of the streambed, laid course by course, stone upon stone, as if the earth itself had slowly risen up to form these walls. That same stone continues in the same spirit inside the house. Rugged masonry piers rise up through the rooms, and the floors are paved with natural flagstone, waxed until it gleams like the wet rocks of the stream on a rainy day. At the very center of the home, the great fireplace is built around a large boulder that was already there long before the house existed, a rock that Wright simply refused to move. It rises through the living room floor and becomes the true hearth of the home, the warm and solid heart of the entire composition. Every single element inside was carefully considered as part of one complete and unified design. Much of the furniture is built directly into the architecture, flowing seamlessly out from the walls themselves. Shelves, desks, benches, and seating all belong to the building. In quiet corners, warm wooden nooks open outward to the forest, the perfect place to sit and read or work, surrounded on every side by trees and filtered light. The bedrooms are intimate, calm, and deeply peaceful. Each one opens through its own glass doors onto a private terrace, so that every room enjoys its own direct and personal relationship with the landscape outside. Even the kitchen, with its simple surfaces and warm cabinets, feels quietly grounded in the same natural spirit, honest and unpretentious. Long corridors lined with stone led you gently through the house, almost like narrow paths winding through a forest, softly lit, hung with art, and always guiding you back toward the light and the sound of the water. Moving through Fallingwater is a carefully composed experience all on its own. Wright leads you first through low, shaded, stone-lined passages, narrow and quiet, almost like the inside of a cave carved from the hillside. And then, without any warning, the ceiling suddenly lifts, the walls fall away into glass, and the entire living room opens outward above the rushing water. This deliberate rhythm of compression and release, of shadow and light, of shelter and openness, makes the connection to nature feel even more powerful and more emotional when it finally arrives. Beyond the walls, Wright blurred the boundary between the building and the forest at every possible turn. Covered walkways and trellised beams cast long striped shadows across the stone, filtering the sunlight in exactly the way that leaves and branches do high overhead. A quiet plunge pool, fed by a natural spring, rests beside the house, its still green surface gently mirroring the canopy of trees above. And everywhere you turn, nature quietly presses in. Mountain laurel and rhododendron bloom softly against the terraces in spring. Delicate ferns and wildflowers grow directly from the layered rocks. Drops of morning dew collect along a spider's web, catching the first light of day. Mist rises slowly from the ravine and wraps the whole house in a soft gray silence. Fallingwater was designed from the very beginning to make you notice these small and beautiful things, to slow down, to breathe, and to truly feel the living world all around you. Nearly 90 years after it was first completed, Fallingwater still stands as the defining masterpiece of the organic architecture movement. It is the clearest expression of a single powerful idea that a building should belong to its place as naturally and as effortlessly as the trees, the water, and the stone that surround it. It continues to inspire architects all around the world, generation after generation, because it proves a simple and timeless truth. Great architecture is not only about creating beautiful buildings, it is about creating places that genuinely belong to their environment. Places that make us feel more alive, more present, and more connected to the world we live in. And that is exactly why Fallingwater is not simply a house standing above a waterfall. It is one of the most influential works of architecture ever built, and a lasting reminder that when we choose to design with nature instead of against it, we can create something that feels almost alive, something that will continue to move people for generations still to come.